How did serfdom slowly decline in medieval Europe? Imagine living in a time when your life was tightly bound to the land you worked on, with little chance to change your situation. That was the world of serfs in medieval Europe. Serfdom was a system where peasants, called serfs, were legally tied to their lord's land. They owed labor and services in exchange for protection and the right to farm small plots for themselves. This system was the backbone of feudal society, with the manor as its main unit. The decline of serfdom didn't happen overnight. It started to change in the later Middle Ages, especially after the mid-14th century. One major reason was the Black Death, a terrible plague that swept through Europe and killed a large part of the population. With so many people gone, surviving workers found they could demand better conditions or even leave their lords' lands for new opportunities. This labor shortage made lords more willing to offer better terms to keep their workers, weakening the strict bonds of serfdom. Economic shifts also played a big role. As farming became more productive and market-focused, lords began to prefer getting rent payments instead of relying on serfs' labor. Instead of working on the land for free or for minimal services, peasants started paying rent in money or leasing land for a fee. This change gave peasants more freedom to move and choose their work, slowly breaking down the old system. Social unrest was another factor. Peasant revolts like the Peasants' Revolt in England in 1381 challenged the feudal order. These uprisings pushed for better rights and showed that the system was no longer sustainable. Over time, legal reforms and royal decrees helped to weaken serfdom further. In England, for example, by the 15th century, most serfs had become free tenants or laborers, although some remnants of serfdom persisted for longer. The process was not the same everywhere. In regions like Normandy, serfdom had already disappeared by around 1100, possibly due to earlier social upheavals or efforts to attract settlers after Viking invasions. Meanwhile, in Eastern Europe and Russia, serfdom lasted much longer, sometimes close to slavery, and was only abolished in the 18th or 19th centuries. In summary, the decline of serfdom in medieval Europe was a slow process driven by population drops from the Black Death, economic changes toward rent-based farming, peasant revolts, and legal reforms. These shifts transformed rural life from a system of hereditary servitude to more flexible work arrangements and tenancy, gradually freeing many peasants from their old bonds.